Alright, welcome to this WebGorgiasB demonstration. Today I'm going to create a new project to define a seller policy. Save the project, and as soon as you save it, it opens automatically. And the first question to answer is what are the available options. So my first option is to sell in high price. Let's see how it becomes a predicate. Take some time. Okay, sell high price, yes. And then to sell in low price. What happened when it was? Okay, you see it's quick. It was my internet before. So I accept this option too, to sell at low price. And now I have two options here. The one is not the negation of the other, so I have to explicitly define that they're conflicting. So I click here the generate complements button, and you will see them being defined as complementary. All right, and now I'm ready to add the facts that will help me define my policy. So the context is that I have enough stock to serve a customer, so I have sufficient stock. Okay, yes, I want to keep it. And then another fact is that I have a regular customer. All right, yes. Also that he will buy 2 items. All right. Another fact might be that he's happy with a late delivery, doesn't care about the goods coming in fast. All right. And finally, there's the possibility of having a high season where demand rises. Okay, yes. All right. Now let's go on and work with these contexts. Let's see what are the arguments. WebGorgiasB automatically defines arguments for all options that are unlocked no matter the context, so I will delete them. I will only sell an item when I have sufficient stock. Okay, and I can sell it in a high price or I can sell it in a low price. So I select here sufficient stock and then save. So these are now my arguments. And remember, these are not complete arguments. They are the arguments that unlock the options, that make them possible. I will argue now about them. And I will not argue using the table this time. I will argue using the Argue for Options tab here. In the Advanced View, you see? I'll switch to Advanced View. All right. So I'm going at the second level. It's a starting level because the object level rules, the ones that unlock the options, are considered to be at the first level. So now here I have the sufficient stock scenario. So when someone comes to buy something and I have it in my stock, I will prefer to sell at high price. So I prefer high price over low price. I see it written here, so I save. This, what we call, is a default preference for this scenario. So I have a default preference for selling high over low. You see it down here. However, there are exceptions. When a regular customer arrives who wants to buy 2 items, I prefer to sell in low price over selling in high price. And I confirm it here. When a regular customer wants to buy two, I prefer to sell in low price. Yes, save this preference. Okay. There is another case that I want to sell low. When a regular customer doesn't want to buy two, I delete this. However, would be fine with a late delivery. In this case, again, I would prefer to sell in low price, so I save this option too. All right. So I have a default option of selling high and two exceptions. One when a regular customer wants to buy two items, or when a regular customer wants a late delivery. All right. Now you see that here I have conflicts because to have a sufficient stock is conflicting. When there's a regular customer that wants to buy two items, this second preference here is conflicting with the first one, the default, because both are valid. No matter because the first one only has sufficient stock, it's valid in this scenario. So in that case, I have to go to the next level, where now you see I have two scenarios, the two exceptions of the previous one. I select one of them, let's say this one. And in that case, I will set a default preference now to sell at low price over high price. Oops, you see here the context is remembered, regular customer late delivery, so I have to somehow change the context. So you see, in general, prefer sell low price. Now this is a bug we need to. Okay, so in this scenario, I prefer low price in general. I save this preference and you see it now here. Is there an exception now? Yes, there is. If it's a high season, even if a regular customer wants to buy two items, I want to sell at high price. I prefer to sell at high price over low price. So I save this preference. Okay? Good. And I want to do the same for the second scenario here. When the regular customer wants a late delivery, again, when it's high season, I prefer to sell in high price. Okay. Yes. However, the default is again to sell at low price. So I prefer low over high. In general, I prefer to sell in low price. I save this default preference too. And you'll see it at the argues for options here. All right. So now if I go to the fourth level that is now available, you'll see my two exceptions with the high season here for the two scenarios. I will select them both and confirm the preference for high price over low price. Regular customer, high season. Okay, in general, prefer to sell in high price, yes. And I'm done. There are no exceptions to this one. I do the same for the second scenario. Okay, in general, prefer to sell high price. Save it. Good. And now I'm done with my policy. Now if I go to the execution pane here, I can test my policy. So what happens when I have sufficient stock? I prefer to sell at high price. However, if someone buys two, let's see again, I want to sell at high price because it needs to be a regular to unlock the second option. So now I have a regular customer who wants to buy two, and now the option is to sell at low price. And if you want, you can see the arguments here. In general, choose low price when a regular customer buys two in sufficient stock. And the final scenario is to have a high season. So again, I explore the options, and here again you see that high price comes again to be the only one available option. All right, so thank you for following this tutorial.